Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video we are going to be doing another beauty blender dupe video, but this time we're going to be doing things a little bit different. I have two sponges here. They are both from the same brand. They are from the brand Bronx Colors and they are the Precision Blending sponges. Now there's two different ones. I think altogether they have two or maybe three. I can't remember, but I remember that they have these two on Ulta's website. That's where I got mine. They both retail for $6.50, so pretty affordable for these sponges. Now they don't look anything like the Beauty Blender, especially this pink one right here. So I'm very interested to see how both of these perform. Now since I'm using these two sponges, I'm not going to be comparing it side by side with the Beauty Blender like I typically do with these kinds of videos, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of battle these together and see which one is a closer dupe to the Beauty Blender. I've used the Beauty Blender for a very long time, so I am pretty knowledgeable of how it works on my skin, so I'm excited about these. Now I have read the reviews on this and they both have one review, so I mean I don't really know how to base it off of that kind of one review. This one had a really great review. It had 5 stars, the pink sponge here, and then the purple sponge had a horrible rating, so we will see kind of how these work together. I am going to go ahead and take them both out of the packaging right now. I think these are actually buy one get one half off on Ulta's website right now, which is a pretty good deal considering they're only $6.50. This one is the purple one. It is, you know, a little dense. That's kind of concerning, but hopefully once I get it wet with some water, it will kind of soften a little bit, kind of like the NYX sponge and the e.l.f. sponges. This one is the pink sponge, and this is just such an interesting sponge. This is kind of the one that caught my eye the most because it's so different. It's completely different than the Beauty Blender, and that is kind of why it intrigued me. I don't know, it's not as dense as this purple one, I don't feel like, but that is what the two look like right here. There are several companies that make sponges that look like this purple one, and a lot of people like this style of sponge, so this should be interesting. I think this will be nice for kind of getting around the eyes, and then I think this one will be nice to kind of get around the nose. I don't know how this super pointy part is going to do because that's very pointy. I feel like I could get out of hand with that. I might stab myself in the eye when doing my under eye concealer. I'm gonna go ahead and run these under some water real quick and we will see kind of how they expand. That's kind of what they look like prior to being moistened. So we will see how big these guys expand and if they get any softer because they both are pretty dense right now. Alright guys, so this is what they look like with water. They didn't get any bigger. I literally had them running under the sink for 5 minutes because I was like, they're not expanding, but yeah, they didn't get any bigger, which is kind of concerning. Also, they have a very strong rubbery scent. I don't know if these have latex in them. I don't have a latex allergy or anything, and I need to kind of look and see if they do have latex because it just smells really strong, but I don't have a latex allergy, so it won't bother me. But my nose is freaking stuffed and I can smell how strong this is. It kind of smells like, you know, those old school big rubber erasers. That is kind of what it smells like. I don't know, but it's strong because I can smell it through this congested nose situation we got going on here. But they didn't get any bigger and they are still pretty dense. I don't know, now this completely changes things. I don't know how this is going to work and I'm very, very scared. But we're gonna go ahead and just dive on into foundation application. I just spat everywhere. Did you guys see that? I think I'm gonna do the pink side for my right side and the purple side for my left side, so that way you guys can kind of tell a difference maybe. I don't know, we'll see. I did already prime my face. I used the Becca First Light priming filter to kind of get some hydration back in my skin, especially around this nose that is so dry. And then for foundation, I'm going to be taking my Sonia Kashuk foundation. I did buy another shade of this because vanilla was a little too dark for me, so I got the lightest shade in 01 Bisque, but it's pretty dark too, so I don't know. I'm going to try Bisque on its own, but I might have to mix it. So I'm going to go ahead and try and apply some foundation. We'll start with the pink sponge first. So that is the side with the pink sponge. I hate this. I don't like this at all. It is so dense and rough on the face. Oh my god, I hate it. I feel like it absorbs a lot of product as well. My foundation did not go on as nicely as I know this foundation can go on. This is becoming one of my favorite foundations, and this looks awful. Like, I feel like it absorbed a lot of product, because usually I can get away with just like one layer of foundation and then just touch up in some areas where I have like problems and stuff, like where my acne scars and stuff are. But this absorbed so much product. Like, I would really have to go in with 2, maybe 3 layers of foundation to cover right now. I mean, you probably can't tell so much on camera because all the lights and stuff, but that does not do this foundation justice, and this is a good foundation. Like, I know it is because I've been using it for the last few weeks, so I don't like this so far. It's so rough, it's so dense, and I think that's because it didn't expand at all. I don't know how this had 5 stars. Like, what? The person that reviewed this even said that they prefer it over the Beauty Blender. Like, have you used the real Beauty Blender? Like, no. There is no comparison here. Like, no. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. But we're still gonna try this. We're gonna try the purple sponge for the left side, and we will see. Maybe it's a little bit better. I don't know. My hopes are kind of shot right now. But we're gonna go ahead and try it out, and I will still try it out with concealer. So, just gonna take a little bit more of my foundation. Alright, so that is the left side of my face done using the purple sponge, and I don't like this one either. It's so dense. I mean, I might as well be putting my foundation on with like a rock. That is what it kind of feels like. And maybe it's just because I've been spoiled with the Beauty Blender and how soft it is, but that is what I prefer. Like, I don't want to be waking up in the morning, putting on my foundation and smacking myself in the face with a giant boulder. Like, that does not sound like a good time to me. I don't like this. I feel like it absorbs a lot of product, and I have to use a lot more product. Like, usually my face would be completely covered up right now, and there are still so many spots like peeking through from like acne scars and stuff. This just does not cover it. It absorbs a lot of the product. It doesn't expand at all. I do feel, however, you get a lot more control with the purple sponge, whereas this sponge is just kind of difficult to hold and kind of, I don't know, awkward. This one's a lot easier to kind of hold and to maneuver, so I would say I'd give an extra point to this just because it's a little bit more convenient, I guess, but it's still like not good. I mean, I would still pay 20 bucks for the Beauty Blender over this. Like, I don't like this. So far, this is kind of a fail. I'm kind of very disappointed, but we're gonna go ahead and move on to under eye concealer and see. This should totally be interesting. I'm gonna do my right side first, so we'll use the pink sponge. Alright, so that is what it looks like with my under eye concealer on. I feel like this sponge, the purple sponge, blended out a little bit nicer underneath the eyes, but it's so dense and it's so hard to kind of shape it to how you want it because it's so dense and it's so rough. And the under eye area is a place that you definitely do not want to be rough with your skin. This isn't something that I would reach for, but I definitely think that this blended out a little bit nicer than this sponge. This little like extended tip here is so awkward because it's really hard to kind of get in to the inner part of the eye to blend it out without getting concealer like on your eyeshadow. This also is very difficult to control. It's just awkwardly shaped, I feel like. I was trying to kind of hold it like this and blend it, but it's very awkward. This tip is so like long and it's like thin, so it doesn't really do much blending. It's just a little bit awkward. I don't know. So far I'm just not loving these. I feel like this sponge is a little bit better than this one, but honestly I'm not liking either one. And I don't think I would recommend either one, but we're gonna still kind of move along. I'm gonna go ahead and apply concealer on the center of my face using my Tarte Shape Tape and my NARS Radiant Creamy. Now, since we're trying out 2 different sponges, I'm gonna kind of divide up my face. I think for my lower part, like my chin and my nose, I'll use like the purple sponge, and then for my forehead, I'll use the pink sponge. So that way we are trying them both out equally. Alright, so that is what it looks like with the center of my face all done. I honestly don't think it did too bad at concealing. I don't feel like it absorbed too much product, and maybe that's just because concealer is a little bit thicker than the foundation that I'm using, which could be the case. I feel like it did a pretty good job on my forehead as well. I don't feel like it absorbed as much product as it did foundation, but it still like doesn't look flawless on the skin. Like, I feel like it makes my foundation look kind of cakey, which I never have an issue with these concealers or this foundation that I'm using. So I definitely feel like it's the sponges. But for the center of the face, the concealer part, I think that they did a pretty decent job. Again, it's not something where I'd be like, I need to go buy a million of these, because honestly, no, I don't think I will ever repurchase these. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the rest of my face. I will try and carve out my contour with them both. That should be interesting. So I will show you that, and then I will be back once my whole face is complete. Alright guys, I am back. My face is now complete. I do have to say, for powder, the purple sponge did a pretty decent job. Since it is a little bit more dense, it was able to pack on the powder a little bit nicely. I didn't really have to go back in and build it and build it and build it as I did with the pink sponge. This was just awful. You've probably seen that from my reaction. It's just this little like knobby thing. I don't know. I don't like it. I really had to kind of build up the powder and stuff like that, which is kind of time consuming, but overall it still applied it kind of nicely. Like, it didn't do a bad job. I think it's because it's so dense that they don't do a bad job at applying powder. I did like the pink sponge for kind of getting in between my eyebrows and baking in between my eyebrows, because I do have like a little fine line that likes to pop up right here in between my eyebrows. So this was actually really nice to kind of get in there and pack powder on to kind of set that area so it doesn't crease. So I do like this actually a lot for applying powder right to this area. Overall, would I say that these are a beauty blender dupe? No, absolutely not. This isn't something that I would go out and repurchase, honestly. I'm very just like kind of disappointed with these. I don't recommend them. I think that they are really dense and they absorb a lot of product. They're kind of uncomfortable to pounce on the face. They don't expand with water. I feel like they absorb a lot of your foundation. It doesn't make your foundation look flawlessly like the Beauty Blender does, or even the NYX sponge. Honestly, I would say save the money on these and buy the NYX sponge, which is just a few dollars more. I think it's like $7.99, so $1.50 more than these sponges. I would say definitely pick that up. I did a whole review on the NYX sponge as well, and if you haven't seen it, I will link that down below in the description box. I would say pass on these, honestly. They're just uncomfortable. They're very kind of awkward, and I'm just not a big fan. I would even use the e.l.f. sponges over these, and that's probably saying a lot because I'm not the biggest fan of the e.l.f. sponges, but yeah, I would say pass on these. These are kind of a disappointment. I was definitely thinking that this guy was going to be like a new revolutionary sponge, but unfortunately not. I think I hate this one even more than this one, but let me know down below in the comments if you've tried out these sponges and what you think of them. Maybe it's just me, maybe it's because I've been spoiled by the Beauty Blender for so many years now. It's everything. I mean, it's flawless. The finish of it is flawless. It doesn't absorb your foundation. And even the NYX sponge, I mean, this guy, it's beat up. I've been using this a lot more than my Beauty Blender recently because I really want to kind of try it out a little bit more, and I've honestly been loving this a lot. As you can see, it's so dirty from me using it. I really like this NYX sponge. I definitely think that that is worth the money, and I would recommend it way before I would recommend these sponges. But let me know down below in the comments if you've tried out these sponges and what you think of them, or if there's any other sponges that I should check out, because I have been loving doing these Beauty Blender dupes. Even though this one was kind of a fail, that's okay because I'm not going anywhere. My foundation looks a little bit crazy, but that's okay. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still sick. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video anyway and found it helpful. Definitely give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button right down below if you are not subscribed already. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon in my next one. Bye!